Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David as he talks with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. Al Cornell, Verde Valley Search and Rescue Volunteer, back in studio. Welcome back, Al.
Thank you.
And got to thinking, it's been super hot this summer, hotter than it normally is, especially in the month of August. And I was just kind of curious how search and rescue things were going on. We didn't really get you in the spring to talk about things you do and don't when you're out hiking. So I thought we'll have Al come in and kind of talk about some of his experiences so far this summer and what you've seen, and maybe we can hit on winter a little bit as well. But
okay.
Have you guys been busy, Verde Valley Search and Rescue?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah?
We have, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
And over time, the number of call-outs has steadily increased.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how many volunteers are on Verde Valley Search and Rescue? How many
we
members
have
you have?
Around, I think we have 34 hikers right now.
Okay.
Or 34 members. Of that 34, probably 30 of them are pretty damn good hikers.
Okay. Is that enough?
Some of us are getting a little older, and so is it enough?
Yeah.
I would say barely. Yeah, we could use more. We could use more. Yeah,
okay.
Because we're all volunteers, so not everybody is available all the time.
Sure.
So they put out a call. In fact, the call-out system now is just phenomenal.
Oh, really?
It one line message goes out. It'll be something like Deputy Hanson requests VSAR come to such and such a location, missing hiker. Can you respond? And then you just hit your iPhone. A Y means yes, or an N means no. Mm-hmm. And it goes out to everybody instantly.
Okay.
And then 5 minutes later, or 3 to 5 minutes later, if you do not respond, an N or a Y, you actually get a phone call. It's an automated phone call, and it says, we have call out, and something like that. Mm-hmm. And so in case you didn't hear your phone ding, then you all of a sudden now it's ringing.
Okay. And
like on a holiday weekend, this past weekend, and a lot of people are doing other things, and so it's, I would say, 8 or 10 searchers will respond right away out of the 34. And sometimes you need more than that, depending on how aggressive the search is. The search, we had a search recently for 2 Brazilian tourists. They got lost over outside of West Sedona off of Dry Creek Road. And as we arrived, we had one of our members assumed control of the base because the deputy wasn't available yet. He's over in Prescott, driving over here. And so Michael Vitek in our unit's been there for a good 15 years or more. He became the incident commander, and the first 2 people arrived. He gave them the coordinates and said, go. And then Michael Campbell and I were the next two to arrive. He said, okay, you guys go over here, hike down there, join the first team at those coordinates. And then as the people arrive, and in this case, we probably had 10 people finally show up, but they weren't at the coordinates. And so the first team got there and there was no one there.
Oh. And
so they hiked another trail just to see what they could find, and then Michael and I got to that point and hiked south and ran into them.
Okay.
And the problem had been the coordinates transferred from dispatch to us. They had made a mistake on one of the digits. We get it in latitude and longitude, and it's latitude and longitude degrees, decimal degrees.
Okay.
So even if the second or third decimal over is off, it could be off. Well, a degree of latitude is 60 nautical miles.
Okay.
So 1/10 of a degree is 6 nautical miles, and 100th of a degree is 6/10 of a nautical mile. So even if one of those digits further past is off a little bit, you won't find them.
Okay.
And so that's very unusual. Usually the coordinates are right on.
But you did find them.
But we found them, and but it just shows you of 34 people when that first message goes out, we probably average immediately 8 or 10.
Okay, so about a
and
third.
And then some people will call and say, all right, I can be there, but not in 2 hours. and then whoever's we have somebody on dispatch duty all the time.
Sure.
And have 3 people, and one of them every week is, and that person will say to them, all right, stand by and we'll call you if we need you, or yeah, we're going to need you, come on in anyway. Yeah, depending on is it a search or is it a 911, and that if it's a 911, probably is just a rescue.
Okay.
We know where they are, we just got to go get them and walk them out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the bad coordinates, very unusual that happens. Out of all this year, out of all the 911 calls that had coordinates, that's probably the only one I can remember this year that wasn't right on.
Okay.
I mean, like within 20 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad track record. So it has been hotter than normal this year.
Yes.
We were talking about before the show. August was an extremely hot and a very dry month, which is very unusual for us, and I think we're all aware of that it's been an unusual monsoon season. But people coming to town and visiting, which is what you probably go out and rescue the most. There's locals and stuff as well, but what were some of the things you ran into this year when you went out hiking and
Good question.
to find people?
The most common is being disoriented or lost first. And then that usually is complicated by lack of water in the summer. Been almost every case we've gone out to the coordinates where they are, they called because they didn't know where they were and they were out of water.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Do we know how long average they've been hiking that they've run out of water already? Do we know that?
Oh, it's
hour or two, or
a couple hours to. We had one over on Secret Mountain. He'd been hiking all day.
Okay.
But still, there's a certain point when you're out there and you say, "All right, half my water's gone. I should turn around." And for some reason, that some people don't seem to orient on that. They keep going. And then when they realize they're out of water or low, it's too late to make it all the way back.
That's like running out of gas in your car when you
Yeah.
just, well, I've got half a tank left. I'm going to keep going. I still got to go home, and there's no gas station between here and the end of my trip. But it seems kind of odd that you would do that.
3 things, and they're the result of another problem. But the 3 things are getting lost. I looked at 9 searches we did in the past here, recent past. 7 of them were the result of being lost. 5 of them also included water, and 4 of them included darkness. In other words, the darkness contributed to their being lost. All 9 were overextensions. That's the interesting thing. All 9, they had overextended what they were supposed to do and didn't turn around to come back. All 9 overextensions. Yeah.
Do you ask them when you finally find them and they see you and they're excited to see you? Do you kind of ask them, what they were thinking?
Oh yeah. And
because you're interested in that.
Yes.
That's key.
I'm
to
interested
you,
in how do they get that in that situation. And the other thing is interesting because you have to teach this to people in survival presentations is their mental abilities at that point. Their anxiety levels go up, sometimes so high they can't make any decisions, or they don't make good decisions, or they break down. We had a rescue on Cherry Creek. We found them probably between 10 and midnight at night, and the lady had been bawling. And yet they had water, they had food, they just were lost in the woods. Mm-hmm. And she just came unglued and was bawling. Mm-hmm. He was pretty stable, but they overextended themselves. Jump into the motel, sign in, let's say, all right, we got 3 hours, let's do a quick hike, jump out, run down a trail, and then just don't turn around in time.
Right, and now you're lost.
And you and I talked about, what about this lack of daylight saving time here? It might contribute in the summer to people thinking they have more time. They come from Kansas where it's still light at night at 9 o'clock, and they're out there hiking at 8 o'clock, and all of a sudden, whoops, wait a minute, it's too dark.
Right.
And then it's too late. They've already got 2-3 hours to get back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
Verde Valley Search and Rescue volunteer Al Cornell is in studio today, just kind of running through some of the issues that have happened throughout the summer months. Stick around, Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Parents, you know as well as I do, there's nothing more important than your children. Don't you love to look in their eyes and see the love? Make sure they can see that love in your eyes by having their eyes examined You can't tell how well your kids see, but Dr. Houston at Camp Verde Eye Care certainly can. Call 567-3330 to make an appointment. You'll be glad you did. Camp Verde Eye Care at 567-3330. They really do care.
Hi, this is Michelle and I welcome you to Sedona Paint Centre. We are here to help you find the perfect colour scheme and product for your home and business. Enjoy free in-store and in-home colour consultations and free paint samples in a colour of your choice. As a special offer to you, just mention this ad and save an extra 10% and enjoy 30% off store-wide.
Turning your real estate dreams and goals into reality, I'm Claudette Johnson with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. For more than 7 years, I've helped both real estate buyers and sellers put me and my team's extensive knowledge of the Sedona and Verde Valley area to work for you. Come see a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, single-level home with a pool at 50 Sedona Street. You'll love the Sedona Red Rock views from this VOC area home. We turn your real estate goals into reality. Claudette Johnson at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Arizona.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Countywide. Al Cornell in studio today, volunteer with Verde Valley Search and Rescue, talking about some of the searches. We were talking about overextending, going out and thinking, okay, I'm just going to go out for a quick 1-hour hike, but 2-hour hike, 3-hour hike, and now you're lost and it's dark outside and you don't have enough water and you weren't prepared to be out there to begin with.
Yep.
So that's the common thing. But I think there's more to it than that. People that come here and visit the area.
It's a reflection of the attitude when you come to Sedona. If these same last 9 searches had occurred, or those people had been at, let's say, Mount Ord in Oregon, or Glacier National Park, or someplace like that.
Up in the Rockies.
Yeah.
Someplace that looks a little
the
more...
Tetons. There's no way they would go out and do a hike as ill-prepared as they are. Here, it's an attitude problem. They're very cavalier. They have what I call the Disney World attitude. They come here, they want to go out for a nice walk, and they come back, and it's so many million people come here. Their thought process is they're in Disney World, and it isn't Disney World. When you get out there and it's 100 degrees, and you go a couple miles and realize you didn't bring enough water. That's the attitude. It's the cavalier attitude people have to hiking in our area.
Do some of them seem kind of surprised that I don't know how this happened? Do you ever get that when you find them, or are they just at the point? They're probably at the point where they're just happy to see you, right?
Yes.
You got a liter of water in that bag, right, Al?
Oh yeah.
And they're probably drinking your water.
Example: the Brazilian couple. They left. They parked in Long Canyon, rode their bikes over into the trail network below the cultural park area, which is a pretty good ride. Got lost in that trail area down in there, and when we got to them, they each, from us starting to hydrate them, and from where they were out to the nearest paved road was probably a mile and a half, but we want to take the shortest way to get them picked up. They each drank a whole gallon.
Oh wow!
Imagine that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shows you how thirsty they were. How dehydrated they were. They each drank and I had quite a bit of fluid with me, and they drank all of mine.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then we had another team come in to join us to walk with us out, and they brought water with them too, and of course they drank all of that, and so they drank each in that short mile, sitting with them first to get them hydrated, and then walk them out. Oh yeah, they
That's amazing. You see that probably all the time, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You bring extra water with you. We've talked about this before. You've got a couple liters in your pack.
We all, one key thing is to make sure as rescuers that we have enough water for ourselves to get out and to get back. And then secondly, carry extra for yourself, I always like to have an extra bottle just for myself, and then a couple bottles in there for your subjects. And if there's a team going in to pick a subject up, we usually have at least 4 to 8 bottles for who we're picking up.
Okay.
Each of us an extra bottle or 2. And in the wintertime, it's clothing. And we all have clothing for subjects in our packs. And so we get to a subject, there's usually enough clothing with 4 of us to clothe 4 people.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
In wintertime, it's early darkness, and it's clothing and the threat of hypothermia.
Sure.
That's the winter thing. Summertime, it's heat exhaustion, lack of water, and darkness.
Darkness.
Again.
Darkness is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Darkness is a thing. You know, it plays on your mind when you're out there.
Well, it is a fear
Sure.
that humans have anyway.
Sure.
It's a normal fear is to be afraid of the darkness at night. Just the lack of preparation to be out there.
Well, you use the word cavalier. And we've talked about this the numerous times you've been on the show, is that you shouldn't be cavalier no matter what you're doing. If you're going out for a walk, you should be prepared for the worst to happen. Granted, you don't want it to happen, but you should be at least ready for it.
A good example, and I've seen it, people go in a half a mile, go across a dry creek bed, roll over on a boulder and break an ankle. Now they're down. And they may only be a half a mile into the trail, but they better have some stuff with them.
And if they're by themselves, which you shouldn't be, right?
Well,
I know.
that's usually they tell people, yeah, it's best to hike with someone else.
Right.
If you don't, you've got to let someone know where you are, where you're hiking, and you have to stay to that plan.
Sure.
It's one of what we call one of the 4 deadly sins. Not telling somebody what you're doing, because then we don't know where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you'll be back.
The 4 deadly sins. That's a good one to review right now. Tell someone what you're doing and stick to the plan. I can tell you of searches where they told their family what they're going to do, then they deviated from the plan, and then they've been a dead body because the search went in the wrong area.
Right.
So stick to the plan. Number 2, stay within your limitations. And that's another problem. People go beyond their limitations. We just had a rescue of 2 ladies at Devil's Bridge. Had no business walking into Devil's Bridge. They were not in the shape to be doing that. They were in their 50s. They were sisters, but very poor physical shape, and they both collapsed.
Okay.
And it was a hydration problem, a heat problem, and clearly an overextension of their physical limitations.
Okay.
But limitations could be something else. It could be the dog you're with that collapses, or you have children with you. We talked about that lady with those young children once, that they were almost ready to collapse, and she didn't bring any water for them. So recognize your limitations. Number 3, bring support. Bring support. Bring a flashlight for night. Bring fire. Bring an extra layer of clothing in the wintertime, and
just in case you get stuck out there.
Yeah.
What's number 4?
Know the weather.
Know the weather.
Know the weather.
Right.
Know the weather. Here, the weather in the summertime, it's hot. So you're stupid if you don't know that.
Right.
In the wintertime, we could have a snowstorm coming, and people don't pay attention. And they go out, and all of a sudden the snow hits. And we've had issues with that.
The summer the monsoon hit. If you're out there and you're standing underneath the monsoon when it hits, you're in some trouble.
Yeah.
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 So know the weather. We got to take another break.
Okay.
Verde Valley Search and Rescue volunteer Al Cornell is in studio today. Stick around, Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging uses a state-of-the-art medical digital camera to take a picture and create a map of the body's infrared patterns, later interpreted by an MD specially trained in reading thermography. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging is the leading medical imaging and proactive healthcare, detecting early danger signs years before other tools, finding early breast disease up to 8 years before mammography may detect it. Schedule a scan with Carol today. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging. Say yes to thermography.
Northern Arizona Arizona Mortgage Corporation is your local choice for personalized home loans, and they've been doing it since 1986. They help home buyers obtain FHA, VA, USDA guaranteed rural housing, and conventional loans. From start to finish, they offer a safe in-person application process with licensed loan originators. Contact Shelley White Collier at northernarizonaMortgage.com or call 634-4251. Visit their office, located at 707 East Dominguez, Suite 601, Cottonwood.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a few minutes left of the program with Al Cornell from Verde Valley Search and Rescue. We mentioned at the start of the show that they are looking for volunteers. All the units of Verde Valley Search, I shouldn't say it, it's
Yavapai County.
Yavapai County Search and Rescue. There's multiple different teams and multiple different avenues that you could help out. We've had the Jeep Posse in this year.
Right.
There's the dogs.
Right.
We've got the dogs. There was the mounted unit. We've talked with them this year. We've got the hiking units here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a backcountry unit. Are you considered backcountry?
No, backcountry is a technical unit.
Okay.
Very good hikers, very good navigators, very good survivalists, but their main role is rescuing people where you need ropes.
Okay.
So you have to
technical
rappel down
involved.
to, yes, that's the correct term. They're technical qualified. And they'll rescue hanging from helicopters, or they'll descend down on ropes and rig somebody to either bring them up or to lower them further.
Wow.
Yeah, backcountry is technical.
Okay, so there's a wide gamut of different
Yes.
options that people can choose from, but you said that there's about 34 in the Verde Valley that they send the call out on. And of course, not everybody's going to show up because people are on vacation. They got things going on.
Yeah, or other things going on, yeah.
But there's an easy way, and we were talking about this during the break, there's an easy way for people to come down and just kind of sit in, take a listen, and see what they think, right?
Yes.
How do we do that?
Yes. The Verde Valley Fire Department's station on 260 just past Walmart heading toward Camp Verde.
Yep, it's just off Goddard.
Half a mile or more past Walmart on the left. We have a meeting there the second Monday of every month. We assemble at 6:30, so it's good to be there a little bit early. We park in the fire department parking area, and we have an official board meeting, and then a membership meeting, and then we do a training afterwards. So the meeting will be about an hour. We'll take a break, and then there'll be some type of training. Like this next one, I'm actually doing the training, and we're going to review land navigation, plotting on a map. Where are you? Using the UTM grid system, and then plotting on a map. I'm here, I want to go there. What direction? What's my bearing going to be? How far? But every meeting we have some type of training, and it's open to the public. People come and they'll sit in, and some people say, "Hey, I like this. I want to be part of this." Others will come and say, "Well, my work schedule or my life is too conflictive with all of this, and so I don't think I'll be part of it." But that's the best way, is to come to the meeting and see what you think.
Because you do get called at a moment's notice. You don't know the call's coming. You just get that beep, and then if you've got time and the ability to, you can show up.
Yeah,
and
sometimes the call will come, the ding on my phone, and here I am in Cottonwood at Walmart, and the search is going to be over in, let's say, at Wet Beaver Creek. So the time for me to get home, get my gear, and get over to Wet Beaver Creek, half the searchers will be there and on their move already. Mm-hmm. So then I'll have to tell them, I have to send an no, and then I'll have to call the dispatcher and say, but I can be there in 2 hours if you need me, that kind of thing.
They usually send out a message once the person's found as well, right? Any volunteers
Yeah.
that were thinking about responding don't, because we've resolved this
And
situation.
sometimes we're on the way and it's resolved.
Sure.
We had one at Beaver Creek, missing boy, separated, a separation issue. And I'm always talking about people should never separate when they're, well, this boy separated from the family. And the grandfather then called 911. And we're all gearing up and getting ready to move, and then we get a ding on our phone and look, and Deputy Hanson has issued a stand down. The boy has been found. In other words, some family member found him, or the boy walked back or something.
Sure. Cancel.
So we get some stand downs on a regular basis also. But
we're out of time.
But we're out of time.
We're out of time, Al. As always.
Okay.
Again, second Mondays, Verde Valley Fire Station off Goddard Road off Highway 260. That's when they meet at 6:30 p.m. You might want to try that. Al, thank you so much for coming in. As always, it's great to see you. That's today's Countywide. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.